Take it away.
Hi, welcome everybody. We're meeting today for the Economic Development Working Group. I'm going to go around and let everybody introduce themselves. I'll start with Amanda.
I'm Amanda. I'm part of the city of Tampa.
I'm Devin Graham here to do a little presentation for you all today. I represent the Center for the Advancement of Food Security and Healthy Communities, or CATFISH for short. I'm a doctoral student in the anthropology department at USF, and I'm with Dr. David Himmelgreen, usually, who's not here today.
Cool.
Morning, everyone. My name is Whitney Pongboy. I'm with the Center for Nutrition and Health Impact.
Awesome. My name is Elizabeth Roman. I'm with the Tampa YMCA and then one of the co-chairs for the Economic Development Group.
And I'm Savannah Bennett. I work for Homegrown Hillsborough, and I help facilitate these working groups.
Okay, so we will give the floor to Devin.
Thank you very much. Should we do the presentation on your screen or on my screen? I can do either.
I can just I'll let me share it so the people online can see it.
Cool.
And then I'll make it smaller.
We're a small group, so I can kind of just talk to you.
Yeah.
No, he's not today. He currently, I think, he's in the class. He just emailed me about some other project. I'm like, okay, I'll do that after I get done with this. Okay, so yes, we, Dr. David Himmelgreen and I, as well as another graduate student, Nicole Kennedy, we just wrapped up year 2. We're moving into year 3 now of the evaluation work we're doing for Homegrown Hillsborough. If you don't mind going to the next slide already, just so I can kind of show the organization. So as part of this evaluation, Monica Petrella reached out to us to help perform the qualitative aspect at first for year 1. While the county was handling the quantitative surveys, we primarily handled the interviews for year 1, where we reached out to stakeholders in the food system of Hillsborough County. And the reason we were approached was because as a member of CATFISH, which is the small organization at USF, it's an amalgam of researchers and students who do food systems work with a focus on that multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary aspect of food, because it's not just something that anthropology, where we all come from, is able to kind of tackle. Obviously, it's a multifaceted, multi-complex effort. So we involve different university departments as well as non-university actors, and trying to find ways to better provide food access and do food research in the county. That usually involves doing research like evaluation work for Hillsborough County, Feeding Tampa Bay, or other organizations as well. We partnered with Evara Health on a food systems food bank project where we were trying to do food as medicine, where, if you're unfamiliar, basically you go into a clinic, and instead of just being quote unquote prescribed medication, you might also be provided food assistance in a clinical setting, either by getting a food voucher or getting food boxes to supplement your food intake, or as a replacement to what you're currently eating. And this is a good way to kind of show how food and medicine are interrelated, and you can't really separate the two. Which is also why this work really is, we often do is from a medical, sociological lens as well, because we're trying to see how food is sort of entangled in all these different aspects of human health and wellness, basically. Thank you. Don't mind, go to the next slide. Thank you. So year 1, which took place in 2023 for Homegrown Hillsborough, focused on those qualitative interviews I talked about. And through that, Monica Petrella, as part of Homegrown Hillsborough, she reached out and basically formed this group of district ambassadors, which basically were interns for the county. And they served as the primary points of contact for the different actors in the food system. So food bank operators, food truck workers, basically anyone that does food, they were reached out to potentially as a participant. And then the interns, the DAs, performed those interviews, and then CATFISH analyzed them and then produced the reports that was presented to the county, as well as to your own perusal if you have an inclination to do so on our website, which I'll show at the very end, basically. But in summation, year 1 is interviews primarily, and we were really interested in sort of exploring what people perceived to be the interest in being involved in Homegrown Hillsborough, but also what are they currently doing and what do they perceive to be the problems in the county in the present moment as well. And then year two, we'll get into in a second. But really, this is an iterative process where each year kind of says, okay, this is what happened. Here's what we found. And now let's explore that a little deeper into the next year, basically. If you don't mind, go to the next slide. Sure. So the key takeaways here, and it makes a lot of sense because we were reaching out to people that are deeply involved in the food system. Most people we talked to ended up being in a sort of administrative position for a nonprofit. And with that, so that's important too, because it also helps understand who is sort of shaping this discourse. For these individuals, there was a large focus on finding new ways to provide food assistance, but not just food assistance in terms of resources, but also information. So there was a large emphasis on sort of education and outreach initiatives, but those are very amalgamous and sort of they can be defined different ways by different people. And education really isn't sufficient if it's not also done in a way that is useful and wanted by those who are receiving such a service, as we all know. Mm-hmm. So year two really was us picking apart that interest in education and outreach. What kind of education would be necessary? Is it client facing? Is it primarily for the organization itself? What topics would be covered? Those are the things we kind of wanted to see based on this trend we saw in year one, concerning this emphasis on education as a priority for those that were involved. A big part of this also, too, as I said, was seeing how much of an interest would there be to be involved in such an effort, such as Homegrown Hillsborough. And there was a large degree of interest. That's a small little number at the bottom of the screen, that 4.38 out of 5. That's sort of a distillation of all the different Likert skills that were performed to sort of show or to explore interest in this organization. So that corresponds to roughly a high or very high interest in the organization. So the key part is now, once that's identified, is sort of capturing that interest and carrying it into the future. Because it's one thing to be super, I'm super excited right now, but it's like going to stay the same in 6 months, 2 years, 3 years as this program sort of percolates. Exactly. Yeah. Don't mind going to, they're not perfect. So year two, as I said, was sort of expanding on, really, I started not so much expanding on, it's refining what happened in year one. So there was an education lens that we identified. So we wanted to see what that education would look like. Is it going to be online databases? Is it going to be pamphlets, media discourses, town halls, seminars? We offered them a large variety of options, as well as allowing them to make up their own options. And then we compiled those and sort of asked questions concerning, okay, what sort of medium would you want this to be delivered through? Is this online? Is this in person? Is this mixed mode? So really, it was sort of trying to find the thing that could be most applicable to as like an actual deliverable. So not just something that's just like us gauging perceptions. It's something that can tangibly be given to people, okay, so that they can use it in their business or their organization to better provide for their community that they're trying to serve. Perfect. So what we really found here was that overall, education is still a top priority from year one to year two, which just corresponds to 2024, really, on education and outreach. So for most organizations, it was their top sort of mission was education, but this sort of changed when we looked at the different scales or levels within the organization. So for the interviewees themselves, that may not always be the top priority. So you see that 26% there, but that's in the face of many, many priorities. So 26%, while it seems small, is the highest percentage of interest that those providers were interested in terms of a topic. Additionally, in terms of food education, the organizational priority was around a 56%, which is still high, lower than we would expect given the trend from year one, but still above like, okay, this is not something that people are concerned about, basically. In terms of what that information would look like, the participants that were, let's say participants, I just want to make sure it's super crystal clear. What I'm saying for participants is, I mean, food actors in Hillsborough County. So again, that could be a food bank organizer, it could be a university researcher, it could be a food truck worker, it could be a local farmer. All these people who do food stuff were participants potentially for this organization evaluation effort, basically. And in terms of the content, the most useful thing that people identified was urban gardening resources, farmers market lists, food aid information, and health promotion. So as an example, now that those have been identified, the next step would be, okay, here's the information. What would be the best way to present that to an audience? And do we need multiple forms of that information? to fit, for instance, like a farmer's needs versus a food truck worker's needs as an example. So that information also gets complicated if we don't find a good way to sort of provide a good medium of delivery. So it's what also we explored that too. So the highest listed interest was an online database. So I could type in either on the Homegrown Hillsborough website or just some other database and find all those lists of resources, find where I can go get local produce, where I can find the local growers in the community, basically.
Okay.
That was the highest interest. Followed by in-person seminars. So like big sort of keynote speakers, having people go do workshops in a setting so they can get hands-on experience was also of interest. And then resource maps, which again is tied to databases where it's like, okay, now I can see geographically where I can find a farmer's market, or I can find a farmer who is interested in getting their organic produce into the hands of a restaurant owner, basically. And then year 3, which is the little bottom there, year 3 is sort of focusing on a interest that was seen by participants in collaboration and finding new ways to link up, not just with HH, but each other in the food network that we all belong to. Perfect. So yeah, so year 3, and also this is really Monica Petrella's sort of main baby this year, is making sure, well, on top of the baby she just had this year.
Right.
Yeah, figurative baby is finding ways for these organizations to, like, what's the glue that can kind of connect all these people together, really. So we're exploring different frameworks in social science, including social networks and actor network theory, other theories that really try to explore ways and connections that says, okay, so how can I get a food truck worker to be interested in showing up to a meeting when they have very busy lives and they're trying to sell their stock for their community, as an example. So you got to get people that have shared interests, but also divergent interests that may end up having a shared interest once they get to talk to each other, is something that Monica is trying to focus on for year 3 at this present moment.
Sounds good.
Yep. So right now we've developed the instrument, which really is a qualitative interview and we're identifying a small subsets of those that participated in year 1 and year 2 ideally, but they're not exclusive to those who participated. So for instance, those in the room would also most likely qualify for an interview for this as well. Because we're just trying to see, again, what people would have an interest in terms of better ways to link up with each other in the food network at the present moment. So we have already got IRB approval, which is the sort of institutional sort of red tape that's there that says like, okay, you can't do research. Yeah, exactly. So we're happy about that because it means it's more time to actually do the project that we're working on at the present moment. So the next step presently is continuing the work through pilot testing. So that'll be getting a handful of people most likely to sort of see if the interview script makes sense. Are we totally off base? Is it too long? Is it too short? Are there questions that need to be asked that aren't asked? That's the sort of feedback that we usually would like to gauge before we start doing the official implementation. But we're already in August, so this will be a process that's sort of going to be rapid firing happening very soon with pilot testing. And then after that, implementation, which is formal recruitment, so more people to do the interviews. And that'll last around until December, like we've been doing in the previous years, where we compile all that information, do analysis, present it to the county, and then afterwards we'll create that final report for everyone's perusal, basically. So year 1 and year 2 are already on our websites, and you can look at that information if you have a desire to. They're relatively short and kind of punchy documents, and there's summaries at the top of every chapter, basically just for easy sort of reference. So you don't have to go through all the numbers. But really, it's just trying to find a way for to do all of your work in a more way that better facilitates and makes it easier for you all to do the things you're already currently doing. Basically, is the focus of these evaluations. So, yep. So that's a link. So obviously, I'm not going to have you type that in manually, but if you would like, you can just type in USF catfish into your browser. The top link should be the university page where you will see all of our ongoing projects and research, as well as documents, including the year 1 and year 2 report. I believe only year 1 is posted right now, but year 2 is supposed to be posted probably by next week. So you can see the first year of this if you have a desire to, but year 2 will be posted soon. And then once year 3 is completed around January-ish, that report will also be uploaded for everyone's discretion if they want to look at it. And then, thank you very much. So any questions either about year 1, year 2, year 3 going into the future?
What has been the biggest challenge?
The biggest challenge is always recruitment. So, like, I know ideal world, we are getting a lot of participants, but people have very busy lives. Incentives are something that we had to include in year two because we were having a lack of engagement. So Monica was able to spin up a raffle that everyone was able to participate in, and then with that, they were able to get a bigger amount of people that were interested in the project. So people don't want to do work for free, which I completely understand. So that's always the biggest hurdle in research, is just getting enough people to actually have something that is powerful enough to say this reflects reality, basically. So that's why for year three, we want to have a more sort of hands-on approach to recruitment and sort of just make sure you can see our faces so we can beg you to all to participate if you have the time to do so,
How
basically.
can we support that?
Sure. Well, either through the pilot testing stage, Monica actually is supposed to be recruiting a handful of people to do that pilot testing, but more is always better. So when the implementation is officially rolling out, sometime probably later this month, you'll probably all see a formal email from Monica saying the project is live. So just participate if you have the time. That would be great for us, because the more people we have, the better we can say this is actually is what will be useful for you all as a product or deliverable at the end of the day, basically.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Thank you.
I think we participated in the year one interview.
Yeah.
Yeah, were those the interviews we did last, like when
Like the USF one,
yeah,
the
yeah.
ones we had to like call. Or like,
Oh, yeah,
you
yeah,
set up a
okay.
meeting.
For sure.
I was like, no,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I did. I think it's somebody called me. Well, I mean, in my Tampa fly hat.
Yeah, right. So you either could have signed up via the survey that was distributed, or you could have got cold called by one of the DAs at the time. And they probably set up a virtual meeting with you to do the interview.
Absolutely. We'll support you anywhere we can.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So, and I know you all are super busy, but if you have any more questions, please let me know. You can reach out to me. My email is probably somewhere on that website.
I think on the minutes. We'll look at it in a minute.
Yeah.
I have your email. I'll give it to you.
Thank you. So,
I was interested, just great, that was great. Thanks for sharing. Very exciting work. I think I participated in year one interview
awesome.
too.
Well, thank you.
I had a question about the client-facing education. Is that, I mean, you had mentioned stuff like urban gardening, databases. I was just kind of interested in, like, I guess, like, if you drill down to the details, is it like kind of like nutrition education, like SNAP Ed type nutrition education, or is it like education to farmers, or like is it double up food bucks? Like, where are these markets?
So basically, it was all of those things, because usually when you're talking with like a farmer, he's not going to so much care about like the health aspect of food necessarily.
Yeah.
So what we found in terms of the client-facing materials that were desired was just something that like I could give to a client, a customer, a neighbor, if you're talking about Feeding Tampa Bay, that says this is useful for them. But for instance, that anyone that had a health focus, or Feeding Tampa Bay has a pretty good health focus as well. They were talking about finding more ways to better link people to SNAP Ed and stuff like that as well too. Because right now the biggest hurdle for SNAP, on top of it just being gutted continually, is just getting people to navigate the channel of how to access it, which I'm sure people are very aware of. So there was an interest in more governmental resources, and also just telling people where those resources are, because a big hurdle for SNAP is even just, especially like if you're an immigrant or a refugee, is knowing this service exists for them, as an example too. So all that information basically, if you're talking with someone and they have a focus on health education, their spin on what that material would be will obviously have an education tonation to it. But so we saw a diverse sort of everything kind of bag in terms of interest and what the client-facing material would look like. So really, it's just then, because this is the evaluation. It's not so much we're delivering the product ourselves. It's saying there's a need or a desire, Monica or HH. So this is information that you may be able to use to better craft those materials as well. And the big thing that Catfish also does, my organization, is help with grant writing, as well as sort of spinning up research projects too. So if you have an interest in sort of getting a project started, like a mini grant, something like that, so we can help facilitate that process. We're actually getting a new member of Catfish who is already kind of doing that kind of work, pretty hands-on already. So with grant writing and that kind of work. So if you have interest in that, likely something we can facilitate. But in terms of the education itself, we can also link you to resources. We can help develop those materials as well at the same time. So all that's there. But yeah, the interest is multifaceted, but also something that people have enough information already to do the work they're doing. It's really just getting something into the hands, either physically or digitally, to the customers, clients, whatever that is useful for them at the same time. So that's a really good question.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you. If I could ask a
Yeah,
follow-up
of
question.
course.
Then for year 3, it's not developing the materials, it's more understanding the social networks and the relationships.
Sure. So year 3 is based on, so basically what happened was Monica and others wanted to develop these working groups that you're all in. The big thing that you all are doing, as far as I understand it, is sort of having them more hands-on, sort of like, okay, so here's what we need, let's get it done, sort of aspect. So Monica desired, now that we have this knowledge of what sort of is needed or wanted, she's using that as sort of like background information to develop the sort of workshops that you probably all are involved in. Year 3 is getting people in the same room together outside of such spaces so that we can have those discussions and say, like, okay, for instance, like there was interest in year 2 on client-facing deliverables. You all are farmers. What would be something you would find useful for you as a farmer, basically? So, but yeah, so year 3 is exploring the social connections, but also finding ways to not just like say there's a need for this because we're kind of beyond that. It's saying, okay, how do we do it now, basically? So,
Okay,
yeah.
got it.
Yeah.
I know I'm a random first
No,
time
no.
member here. I'm a
I love the question.
Yeah, no, these are great questions. So I
I'm
appreciate it.
a researcher, and Dr. Homegrown was on my dissertation committee. And I'm just here. I want to do research with farmers, so this is perfect. It's kind of like I'm in this phase where would like to make more connections and see what we could do for the community. So that was perfect timing to go today.
Oh, great
Thank you.
questions.
Thanks.
I mean, if you want, we can talk more later about find ways to collab. But
Yeah, sounds good.
yeah, that's me. That's Catfish. If you have any other questions, please let me know either now or email me, whatever you want to do.
Does anyone online have any questions? Give them a chance.
Sure.
All right. I think we're good.
Thank you very
Jen.
much.
Okay, yes, we
Oh,
got a thumbs up.
Thank
Email
you.
and everything.
Cool. I'm going to order a lift while you all keep talking.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time. That presentation was great.
That's okay, because I have to go bounce to do something else on the way to campus. But next time, thank you. I appreciate it.
So does anybody have any new developments to discuss? Any reading they did on the platform or anything that they would like to discuss?
I just have an update from the city side. We are, working on a Sulphur Springs neighborhood action plan, and we have a community meeting next Tuesday. And we have maybe found a pot of CDBG funding, which is federal funding from HUD, and that we could maybe use for the Fresh Food Initiative in Sulphur Springs. And so I'm meeting with the CDBG team tomorrow to I gave them my ideas, but I need them to confirm that those are verifiable actions you can take under CDBG, and then we're going to present that to the community in Sulphur Springs. So if anyone wants to stop by, we'd love to hear your input.
Yes, what day?
It's next Tuesday. It is at, let me pull it up. It is at 8412 North 13th Street, and it is 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And so it's not going to just be 8412 North 13th Street. And it's not going to be just obviously about food. That's just going to be a small aspect of it. It's about all of all of the resources that the community in Sulphur Springs needs. So
Is that 6 to 8?
Is that posted on the Homegrown Hillsborough site?
No, but I'll make sure I get that up today.
Okay, thank you.
On the platform, they're in your working group. There's only one post. And basically Monica shared like a directory for USDA local foods. And it's kind of a cool way you can kind of click around and see where food stuff is. So like we could look in Tampa. We can spell it right. Okay. I looked at it a couple days ago and it's interesting. It's not exactly what you would expect, but
I was looking at it yesterday.
Yeah, okay, you looked at it. Any thoughts?
I just wondered where they gathered the information from because it didn't feel like it was gathered locally. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, so you can see there's all kinds of stuff. And like when you click on it, it kind of like, what is that? Like Tampa Bay Farmers Market, and which is yeah, Seminole Heights Morning Market. Just interesting. And there's some smaller things out in East County. There's like a little farm out in Steffner. But yeah, that is a good question, is where they got this information, if it's like self-reported or not. But yeah, they kind of have. Yeah, I've never heard of this CSA farm, and it seems to be close to the extension office. So just something to explore if you're looking to,
Do
start.
they have a methods page where it says like where they compile
Let's see.
information?
Do you think it would be like
Data
here?
sharing, that's what I was thinking.
Mm,
I don't know. Something else.
Somewhere like info. Yeah, I don't know what these things mean.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it says it on the homepage and we zoom past it. No, okay. I guess you can just look at different things. It might be somewhere, but we don't know where.
Yeah.
Oh, is this Google?
Huh.
Interesting. Well, that's just something to look at. Otherwise, the other thing I wanted to mention to you all is we have a date for our Homegrown Hillsborough conference. It is the first annual, yay.
Yay.
And it will be in December. So it's scheduled for 3 days. The first day is December 2nd, which will just be like a happy hour evening type of thing. And then the third will be our big conference day where we do our workshops and like we'll have a keynote speaker and things like that. And then we also on the third day, which will be December 4th, we're gonna do like a brunch at Meacham Urban Farm, and then we're gonna have tours. So the main day that we really would like, especially our working group members to be at, is on December 3rd. So please mark your calendar for that day. We might ask you to be on a panel. We might ask you to lead a workshop or something. And if you would like to come to the other events, great. But we really need you the 3rd. That's the day we especially need you. But we would love to have you for the other days. And we don't have a location secured yet. We are touring somewhere on Monday, so hopefully it's promising. I've toured a couple spots and it's just hasn't quite worked out. So hopefully that one's good. But I just wanted to put that on your calendars like now. There's 2 events on the platform, so day 1 and day 2. So like I said, on the second, it's just gonna be like a happy hour type of thing. So don't feel super obligated, but we'd love to see you. Yeah, and then also kind of wanted to go and mention thanks again, Devin. The leadership retreat. I kind of want to get some feedback, what you guys thought about it, and if you haven't filled out, thank you. There's a evaluation page I put it in our private group. Please fill out this. So in this working group leaders page, fill out this evaluation. We're evaluating each other and we want to get your feedback. We're also evaluating like the Homegrown Hillsborough team. So we want to know what we can do better. So please get those filled out like ASAP. And yeah, I want to know any thoughts, feedback from the leadership.
I thought it was very beneficial just because it gave me an opportunity to like talk to Nicole from the food production group and see how we can collab. And, we just keep missing each other at other spots. So having us all in the room, I feel like is really important because all of this is intersected and it allows us to just, build those relationships beyond just our economic group, so.
And the articles were really useful too.
I was like, Janine, come closer. Okay. Come towards the microphone.
I'm like glad I missed it. My daughter goes to college. That's what we were doing. So
okay.
Yeah.
No worries. But we have all the paperwork now. So we will ask you to review it. There's some good articles in there. I don't know if you guys want to elaborate at all about there's like a leadership one, and one about like delegation. So,
They were helpful. I actually shared them.
oh, great.
I met the day after that with a USF student who was an intern at the city who's very involved in the food system. And she was talking about how she wants to make sure she's a leader. And I was like, girl, I got some documents for you. And so I passed those along for her.
That's awesome.
It was nice to see everyone and get to, like you said, like let everyone mingle.
Mhm.
We are going to do some more in the future, but we might have the working groups plan it. So some fun, yeah, some more leadership experience for you all.
I also appreciated the frank conversation around the roles of a leader and the expectations. I feel like sometimes when you don't discuss the elephant in the room, that's when you start developing resentment because
Yeah.
I have an expectation, you have an expectation, and you have a different one. So I appreciated that you guys were really open and candid about all that. So that was
It's like, so we always want feedback.
yes.
We accept like open to criticism or constructive criticism. We can't grow if we're not, you know.
Yes, yeah.
And that's the same thing with this evaluation that you guys got to get done. We will give you your feedback. We're not going to we're not going to be like, Amanda said that Savannah sucks. But we'll tell you, like your average rating in this section was this and your rating in this. So like, we'll talk about it. So please be, like you said, be candid with each other so that we can grow and be better. And then
A little off topic, I'm sorry, a little
ahead.
off topic, but I think in the realm of economics, I was looking at the conference funding thing that you posted. And I was wondering, are there recommended conferences that maybe you recommend? Because yeah, I'm a little bit I'm confused as to what qualifies under that. At least for you guys, does it have to be something that holds within the group, the working groups, or is it, just general food conferences or, I was reading through and I was a little bit confused about what applies. And I don't know if that's off topic and maybe we can speak separately, but I just wanted to, since we're talking about conferences, I wanted to jump on.
No, that's a good question, and that was something that was posted on the platform. So the funding originally was for our working group members, but since it hasn't been used, we opened it up to the whole network. So if I had a list of conferences, I would hope people have already signed up for that. So unfortunately, like I don't have a list of recommended conferences, but the main key is that you can tie it to the working groups in some way, either through the priorities. The goals might be a little difficult, but if you can tie it to a working group, especially, I don't know if you're looking at anything in particular, but the main thing is that we spend the money before October 1st. So even if the conference is like October 15th, if we can pay for it before October 1st, that's fine. As long as we can like pay registration. You just have to fill out that form that's linked there, and then we can talk to you about it. Like, we're not just going to straight up reject you and give you no feedback. If we reject you, we'll tell you why. And if there's room for improvement, we'll say like, we just need you to explain this a little bit better or tie this way. So it's kind of up to you if you can tie it to a working group, like priority. Does that help?
Yes, I actually was looking at a food as medicine conference, but it turned out to be free. So
Okay.
I'm still working on it.
Okay. Well, that's good. You can do that one and another one. And the
Yeah.
only thing we don't cover is food. So we'll cover travel, hotel, conference fee to a degree, within reason. You're not staying at the Ritz-Carlton. Sorry. Unless they have a really good rate.
Oh man, I'll see if they have discounts.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. And yeah, so that's open to anyone, and hopefully we can spend some of that money. So yeah, just don't be shy, submit an application and we'll work with you if we think it's a good match. Awesome. Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, so for a new business, we need a new location for the October meeting because this one is not available. I was wondering if maybe your
Yeah, we
conference
can,
room-
we for sure could. Let me just calendar.
If not, we can go to a library. We've had good success at libraries, but it's up to you guys.
Yeah, and my department does now have parking passes, so people will be able to verify you guys' parking and paying to go downtown. So Oh, wait, it's
No, the
9.
11th, the 11th.
The 11th.
Oh gosh, on September 11th.
Oh, the next meeting, but the October meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's the
Okay.
October one. Yes,
Okay.
you're right,
Okay,
I'm
so let
sorry.
me just make sure a conference room is open.
It's October 9th, you were right. I was wrong.
I was like, yeah, it's the 11th because I was
Thinking about the next one.
with this. I also kind of wanted to ask this group if you guys want to change the time of this meeting. So we tend to have some late arrivals. Not to call you out. You're not the only one who's ever been late to this meeting. But if this time doesn't like work, we can change it. It's not, 1,000% set in stone. We want to set you guys up for success. So I don't know if this is like a common conflict time or not. I know Nicole isn't here today either. So we could also table it for our next meeting. It's, I don't know if that's anything you guys want to bring up or.
I'll be open to discussing that. I mean, normally the mid mornings are pretty jam-packed.
Okay.
Yeah, I prefer first thing in the morning, honestly, because then everything explodes afterwards.
Yeah.
But if the first place you go to is the meeting,
Yeah, then it's
then it's different. Yeah, then it's different. But once you touch the office, it's like, but I need you to do this before you go. I'm
Or
a different
just-
day.
The day is fine, to be honest, but
Oh, first thing you
sometimes-
said.
yeah,
For
first
some
thing.
reason I thought you said
Yeah.
Thursday.
because like sometimes my mornings can be a little bit, like you just never know.
right. Yeah.
I'm open to doing first thing because that might be easier for me, but we're a group, so it has to be.
Definitely. 8 a.m. would be the earliest I could be here.
It would be 9 for me because by the time I drop
Okay.
my daughter.
Yeah, that's why I got my daughter off, so.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So you want to save it for next meeting, or maybe you want to talk to Nicole in the.
I think so, because I think it was because of Nicole that we have to push it down. I think we wanted an earlier time and I think she needed, there was something in the morning for her, I don't remember.
Probably picking up food.
Yeah, well, maybe a conference room that's tentatively available. So if once we want to confirm that time, I can go ahead and book it. We can just pencil in that we will have it, the October one in,
And we could
regardless
always
of the
start
time I
in,
can
like,
find a conference room. So,
we could always start new time in January or something.
Yeah,
That's true, that's
Yeah,
true.
that's true.
I mean, whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
That's true.
Yes,
So we
let's say
can-
yes, book the conference room so that we have somewhere.
Okay,
in
I'll book it
October,
for
yeah.
right now for
Yeah,
our
perfect.
scheduled time. If we need to change it, just let me know.
And we'll just wait for September 11th then to finalize that discussion with Nicole and then, or we can, when we do our touch base,
Yeah, we'll talk then.
we can talk there. So we're gonna move into the scoring of the mini grant applications. I will pass it on to Sam.
So with this, we are going to ask our non-voting members to leave so that our voting members don't feel the pressure of scoring. Thank you, Whitney, right? Thank you so much for coming. I mean, you're welcome to, you don't have to like leave the building, but like, we're gonna stop like streaming online and just so that they can score them. Because these are our mini grant applications.
Makes sense.
Thank you
Okay,
so much
bye-bye,
for-
everybody.
Bye. Thank you for coming.
I was gonna head out earlier, so I'll just touch
Do you think you'll come to the next meeting?
I'm exploring the work groups.
Mhm.
I'm open to. I was just learning to see what work groups are doing. So economic development, I'm not sure. It sounds like you guys are doing kind of like markets. I was interested in anything to support like economic impact for like farmers